Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another fun, well, maybe not so fun today, filled episode of Left Side, Strong Side. I'm your host, Chance Ellis, and joining me my co-hosts, Mike Deacon and Jacob London. Somehow, all of us are very devastated today, which is odd because one of our teams won. But we'll get into all that. We're here to break down all the action of the NFL season. Or not the NFL season, of the NFL first week. It's week one, and one of us has already given up. All right, but let's start at the very top. Let's start with our week one recap.
I think two of us might have given up.
Okay, no, two of us have given up. One of us is still clinging to hope. Let's start with our first game, Thursday Night Football. We had Detroit kicking off against the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. Now, look, we all, not all of us, two of us had the Chiefs win this game. I rode with the Lions. I didn't think it'd go like this, though, because here's the thing. The offense is not, I thought it was going to be like a big shootout. Because, again, like Chris Jones wasn't playing. Travis Kelce, we was told before the game, was not playing. So we thought like, oh, okay, so it's going to be some kind of shootout. Not exactly. The defenses for both squads stepped up, which is crazy because the defenses for both these teams were a weak spot in the past couple seasons. Detroit, especially last year.
Absolutely. One of the first things I wanted to say with this game was we saw what's looking like a breakout season for Aiden Hutchinson beginning. He had so much pressure on Mahomes. They didn't get any sacks, but he was there constantly reminding him that, hey, I was the number 2 pick for a reason. I should have been the number 1 pick in that draft. That kid is going to have one hell of a year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson, I think, was the biggest standout for me from this game, as in like for the Lions. I think that was we went in. This is going to be a recurring theme for all the games, I think, except maybe 2 or 3 of them. It was week 1, and you could tell with a lot of these games that it's week 1. Teams still haven't quite gelled. Teams are still figuring out everything, and I think the Chiefs were a big evidence of that. And so were the Lions in their offense. It was the defense that really stood up.
The defense, when you can hold Mahomes to 21 points, that's a good day.
Yeah, at home.
But yeah.
At home. Yeah. When you can hold Patrick Mahomes to 2 touchdowns at home.
When they dropped a banner.
That's something.
Yeah.
And they dropped a banner. That's not it's only the 5th time this has happened. This isn't a regular occurrence of, I know it happened last year with the Bills and the Rams, and again, it's happened again this year, but this isn't a regular thing that happens.
This isn't commonplace, is what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, look, the Lions defense stood up really well. They bullied that Chiefs offensive line. Absolutely bullied them. And
we're seeing that no Orlando Brown could hurt this team in the long run.
Yeah. That was a big takeaway, but also, and it doesn't really matter now, but I think at the first 3 quarters of the game, I don't think the Chiefs were massively missing Chris Jones. That 4th quarter, they were starting to.
Well, here's the thing.
O-line.
We thought like, okay, look, everyone's saying like Mahomes wasn't throwing to anybody. Here's the thing. We learned with this game that missing Chris Jones in this was not the biggest problem.
3rd and 6.
Kadarius Toney, the front runner for not songs of the week for all of us. I don't think he's going to get it for any of us. But yeah, look, if the Chiefs had anything resembling consistent hands, not good hands, just consistent hands, they probably win this game.
Yeah, they had the opportunities. They were constantly. This game was like Mahomes is not to blame for this. Those receivers that just did not play well at all.
No, look, absolutely not.
There's literally one throw. If Toney catches one throw, they win this game. because it was going to be in field goal range. They could have ran out the clock and won the game. Lions didn't have enough timeouts. Like, it was over. The game was over if Tony catches that ball. And that's it. Like, it's like, so yeah, this was, I think the reason why this is such a big deal is because the Chiefs lost. The Chiefs are still a very scary team. The Chiefs are still going to be a very scary
another
team.
thing I'll think they're missing is their offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, because Matt Nagy's play calling was
not good
in this game.
Yeah.
Like, it's 3rd and 2 with the game on the line. Let's take the ball out of Mahomes' hands. Genius.
Right.
Like, that whole third down tight end handoff. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Hey.
Yeah, there's a lot of that sort of stuff. There's part of, like, I'm still very worried about this team. And I think they're going to be a very scary team this year. They're still...
Yeah.
Everyone else in the AFC decided, oh, look, they're down. Cool. We're not going to do anything. We're all just going to suck too, actually.
Capitalize? Not even once.
Yeah, none of them did. And the Chiefs are still going to be a very scary team this year. Kelsey more than likely comes back this week. We'll talk about it later. But big takeaway from
this loss wasn't enough to get Chris Jones back in the building. So losing the line, that's the line. That was the last straw.
But no, the Chris Jones contract's weird.
It's very weird.
And I said this to you guys. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 3 or 4 weeks we hear the Chris Jones has new representation.
Right.
This whole thing felt like the agents wanted to be able to say, we got Chris Jones the highest paid contract. And it's blown up in everyone's face. And Chris Jones is the one who's lost money because he missed that first week. So he lost money. And I think that's why he's come back now. And he's just like, I need a way to make that back the money that I lost. And that's why they've got the extra incentives.
Yeah, it's like a weird, like, big incentive laden contract. I'm just like, what the fuck is the point of this holdout?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I said I really do think we're going to hear the next story of in 2 or 3 weeks. Hey, Chris Jones has new representation.
Yeah, we'll see. But sorry, you say something, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to say the other side of the ball. You got to look at Detroit. They fake punted on their own 17-yard line
in the first quarter. That was a ballsy call from Dan Campbell.
Look, and it's one of those ones where, hey, it's ballsy. If it pays off, we're all set. And it paid off. It paid off amazingly, and they went on this great run, and they got the touchdown that really controlled the game. If that thing doesn't pay off, there are people calling for his head. Like, it's one of those, what are you, like, it's the thing with the Chiefs. And what I thought was really interesting, though, when momentum switched, so when the bad snap happened and then the next play there's a fumble, when that happened and suddenly the Chiefs had momentum and they were starting to look like they were good, he got scared. And there was a 4th and 3 in the third quarter that he didn't go for it. And there was a couple of them. And it was like, Dan, you literally went for it on your own 20-yard line. Yeah. But you're not even willing to do it in the 40 or the 50. Like, it was just, it was really weird that he got scared later in the game when it looked like we could actually beat them.
Mm. Yeah, hey, great win for the Lions. Statement win for the Lions. I'm excited to see where this team goes this season. Hopefully they can keep it up. Next game, moving on to our Sunday slate, because I want to get this out of the way already. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, look, I will be the first one to admit the Steelers played like trash. Like Steelers on all levels of the game played like trash. Not you, TJ. You're still cool. The rest of you, though, just wow, garbage. All right, look, I was excited with preseason. Like, look, they were efficient in the preseason. They were a great offense. Here's the thing. I put my faith in Matt Canada. I'm starting to realize maybe that was a mistake. Because against anything besides cover 2, Tampa, this offense is once again fairly useless, and I'm concerned. Now, I will say, look, Kenny Pickett didn't play well. I'm not gonna miss one. Kenny Pickett played like shit, but I will say there are some things on the Pittsburgh defense, on the Pittsburgh Steelers team that I'm optimistic about. One of which, T.J. Watt, 3 sacks, including a strip, well on his way to the Defensive Player of the Year award, which I do think he'll get. Like I said, I predicted it. I do think it'll happen. Allen Robinson totaling the amount of targets and catches he got with the Rams last season. I like that we're integrating him into the offense. Najee ripped off a pretty good run. We had to get away from the run because we were down so much. Other than that, not a lot to be. Broderick Jones looked good in limited action. I like Broderick Jones and what we saw of him. But the rest of the line, no. Bottom line, this is the win. Is just like I'm confused as to what the hell happened because this is a team that just did not show up.
It's the other side of the ball that happened. It's that the San Francisco's defense is that good.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, look, starting against San Francisco, arguably the best unit, one of, if not the best unit in football, it's tough. So I will give them leeway on this one. But you're like, goddamn, have some goddamn pride. Shit.
So I really hate last night. Like I'll get back to this. Like we'll talk about what happened last night because I even messaged Mike. I had an idea for tonight because I wanted to give you the preseason award and be like, congratulations. Here is your preseason trophy. It's the only one you're going to win when Matt Canada is your offensive coordinator. This team will not win a Super Bowl with Matt Canada as your OC. It will not happen.
I agree.
Because Tomlin is so loyal, he ain't getting rid of him.
Not until the end of the season. Tomlin's a weird thing where he doesn't fire. Well, now the organization has a weird thing where they don't fire coaches. And I thought his contract was over last season. It's not. It's after this season, we got duped. So look.
So I think you're in for a rough year.
No. I think
you're in for a real rough.
I'm not pushing the panic button just yet. It's week 1. The team is still gelling.
No, I agree with you to an extent about the hey, we played the best defense one of the best defenses in the league. I understand all of that. What concerned me was not once did he the lack of targets to the best weapon that Pickett has. Pickens barely got targeted.
He did.
No, that's not
really true. He was the second most target receiver on the team.
Okay, well, he didn't complete anything then.
No, he didn't complete anything. Cost me. He was the second most target to play on the team.
Okay, I only know that because that cost me a bet because I had that he had to get 6 and he got 2. So, or 3 or something. I was like, oh god damn it. But that's concerning. That how little how the lack of an offense when hey, he's gone. Now what? I'm really curious. Next week, you guys play the Browns, which I'm really fascinated how your O-line does against.
That's gonna be a test. But I also will say, what was the point I was gonna make? I like the last drive we had heading into halftime, where it was West Coast high tempo, where they were moving the ball down the field. And it's like, okay, this I like. I'm not sure if it was Pickett calling the shots or not. I feel like it was. Just pick it. Just say that your helmet is broken. Just say that your mic is broken every single drive. And look, Kenny, just real quick. Kenny, I'm not angry. Yes, I am. I'm fucking furious. But I will give you. I'm not going to give you a pass because you did play awful. And I feel like you know that. I feel like you see his post-game pressers. He knows he played badly. And I feel like he's going to turn it around. I have faith that he is going to turn it around. Like I said, not hitting the panic button, not saying the season's over, not going to be like another certain AFC North fan who we'll talk about later, saying like, "Oh, after this is our year. We're going all the way." No, again, it's a week. It's 1 week. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I'm not worried about the team quite yet. It's just something we need to figure out, and I feel like the squad has the talent to do it.
I'm really hoping someone pulls play calling off Canada. If that happens, I'll be
For the love
terrified.
of God, for the love of God, please, I will do anything.
The other side of the
Sorry,
ball,
mate.
though, 49ers firing on all cylinders.
No, yeah, you guys are the 49ers. 49ers, holy shit.
No
good
weakness.
job. Good game.
49ers came out and proved.
Okay,
49ers came out
that's the
and
other thing.
proved.
Jacob, you have to apologize to two teams today. One's the 49ers.
I don't know who the
Pittsburgh
other
Steelers.
one is.
The Pittsburgh
What?
Steelers.
I don't know who the other one is. Why?
Pittsburgh. Here's why. Because above all else, I blame you for losing. Because I feel like the Niners heard everything you were saying and said, that was their Jordan moment. That was their Jordan. We took that personally moments. And it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to throw it right back in your fucking face where we played week 1. And it just happened to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, above all else, Jacob, I blame you for losing. It's
49ers.
It's public enemies, Matt Canada, Jacob London, Kenny Pickett. Those are the reasons we lost.
49ers came out, put their hand up, came out and went, we're the best team in football. And they are. Right now, they are the best team in football. They are the scariest team. Because here's the thing. The other teams that are in conversation for the best team in football played bad teams.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The Steelers are a good team. As much shit as I give you, the Steelers are a good team. And they made them look bad. They made them look like chumps.
We look like a JV squad playing varsity.
So the 49ers are the best team in football right now. That might change next week. They might be terrible next week. I don't know.
They might
but
be.
Right
next
now,
week's gonna be a good indicator. But...
I doubt it. But like the 49ers are right now the best team in football. You proved me wrong. Well done, 49ers.
I love how Jacob learned his lesson from the Eagles last year. We're just like, I'm not making any season long trashing campaigns.
I'm not. However, we'll get to the Eagles. Look, Brock Purdy, he's doing everything right. I need to see him. The game that I am most looking forward to more than anything, and I can't believe I am saying this, that Cowboys 49ers game right now is going to be amazing. And if the NFL has any smarts, they would move it to Sunday night. That is a primetime game that needs to be action.
Is it possible?
Actually, I think it already is Sunday night. No, it is already Sunday night. Never mind.
That has to already be Sunday night. There's no way.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I thought it was. That is a Sunday night game that the entire country is going to watch, and it's going to be a great. Where is Purdy? Where is Dak? Where is everyone? I think that is going to be a great test because it's going to be a Purdy going up against a real tough, hard defense. That's my biggest thing right now. My single biggest concern on this 49ers team is where is Purdy? That's it. Everything else, 100% about.
But yeah, anyway, Niners, good win. Pittsburgh, get it together. I know you will, but just get it together and get it fast, please, for my sanity and for my liver. Up next, we're talking about Battle of the NFC South. The Carolina Panthers taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Bryce Young making his NFL debut against Desmond Ridder making his debut as the full-time starter. Then look, I think this is one of the games that none of us really pay attention to. Unreal.
I watched literally 3 minutes of the highlights, and I went, I don't know, fuck this.
I will say, look, despite the fact that I still think it was a mistake to draft this dude, Bijan Robinson looked really good.
Well, and here's the thing: they didn't even really showcase him. He got the ball a handful of times, but it was the Tyler Algier show, which is the reason everybody from the get-go thought, why did they take Bijan when you have this rookie last year who at the end of the season really did pick up steam. He had 2 touchdowns the other day. The Falcons on offense is going to be a very run-heavy team. It certainly appears that way. Now, granted, they're playing Carolina, who, let's face it, full-blown rebuild. One of the worst offensive lines in football, one of the worst defensive lines in football. This is a team that, can be exploited very, very easily. But Atlanta came in, didn't make Desmond do that much, and just ran the ball most of the game and did what they needed to do to win the game. I am afraid for both teams going forward. Atlanta's defense played very well, but again, this is Carolina, so
particularly Jesse Bates. I feel like Jesse Bates is a big difference maker for Carolina, or for Atlanta. For Atlanta,
yeah, he played the second best game for a safety all week, but their defense looked good, but they're going to go in this upcoming week and play a very different team. They're playing Green Bay this week. We're going to talk about Green Bay in a little bit, but I don't think that this offense has the firepower it needs with Ritter under center.
Bijan, Bijan is what Kyle Pitts should have been, where came straight in. You're like, oh, yep, that was the right pick. Well done, you got him. Kyle hasn't been that.
But that's not Kyle's fault.
But no, and I know that's not on. A lot of that is on the team more than Kyle. Like I think, yeah. But I think Atlanta at the end of the year are going to be in the quarterback market. I'll be shocked if Ritter is still their full time, if their starter next year. Something's wrong because Ritter's not it.
Again, it's week 1. This is literally only his second game as a starter. Let's see how he develops through this season. If he gets better, he gets better. If he doesn't, you get somebody else. I'm not ready to push the end. I'm not ready to look. Tonight's episode is Overreaction Monday or Tuesday. I'm not ready to push the Desmond Ritter ain't it button just yet, especially because last year he did show some flashes. So maybe he grows, maybe he doesn't. But I think at least give him the year, or at least give him until he starts
No, I get that. No, he'll have the full year. He'll have the full year. I just don't think he. From what I can say, I don't think he's it. I don't think he's it.
All right. Yeah. I actually do want to shout out one more person. Hayden Hurst taking Bryce Young's first NFL touchdown and throwing it into the stands.
Come on, dude. I will get. Admittedly, he realized he fucked up and went and got it. Apparently
they got it back. That's what people are talking about. He got it back. That's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Bye. Oh damn! All right. I don't know if he's still here, but fine. We'll give you flowers. The fucking Cleveland Browns. Look, this is the Cincinnati Bengals went into Cleveland for the Battle of Ohio, and I have no idea what the fuck happened in Cincinnati.
I do.
Yeah.
This game cannot be considered anything because the weather was so bad.
At the same time, though, look, the weather excuse exists if Deshaun Watson didn't exist.
Deshaun Watson did not play good.
Didn't play great. Sorry, Watson did not play great.
I know he didn't play great. He still outplayed Burrow. That's the one thing.
I get.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to excuse Burrow for this. I'm sorry. He is coming off an injury and he didn't play any of preseason.
Okay, but at the same time, I hear that. At the same time, there are other quarterbacks who would play this bad in week 1 who we would not give that excuse to. If Aaron Rodgers did this in week 1, you would not give him that excuse.
No, and here is my thing though. Burrow has proven it over time. The same thing happened last year. And what happened? They went to the fucking conference final. All right? This happens. It just
This is ironic though. It just again, from a base standpoint, looks like Burrow, he got his money and said, "All right, I'm good. I don't gotta do anything anymore."
Yeah, I get it. My biggest takeaway from week 1 this weekend is the preseason matters. It absolutely matters. And this whole philosophy of, rest your starters because you don't want to risk an injury during, you don't want to risk injury. You don't want to risk any of that. Cool. Week 1's going to suck. Week 1 is just going to straight up suck and your team, and it could cost you an actual win. This is a bad loss for the Bengals. Given the Chiefs lost, this is a bad loss. This is one that they needed to win, especially
not just
given
the fact that it's a divisional game.
Yep, it's a divisional game in what we're all calling the toughest division in football. I think it is. I think it's going to be in the end. I think it still is. Even
no team played like it. No team played like
it. This weekend. This weekend wasn't it, but I think it will be in the end. But
I also just don't understand what happened, what effect Cleveland has on Joe Burrow. For some reason, whenever Joe Burrow's playing Cleveland, he can't do shit.
They just it's a bad matchup. It's the same thing with the Chiefs. The Chiefs can't beat the Bengals for some reason. It's just a bad matchup. The Bills, Josh Allen can't beat the Jets because of a bad matchup.
Josh Allen can't beat overtime, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay, well, yeah, but there's teams with bad matchups. The next one we're going to talk about, or one that we're going to talk about at some point, in two West teams. One of them can't beat the other one for some reason, even though it's just a bad matchup. And I think that is a big thing to take away from this. Now it's going to get real interesting if Burrow has to play the Browns later in the season in a playoff game. I know he has to play them at home. But that's going to get real interesting. And
did we just say Browns and playoff game?
I know.
Let's not look, one. Matt. I know you're watching. Don't buy into your own hype too much. All right. Let's be real. It's week one. You played a fucking monster. Granted, your defense played excellent. Especially Myles Garrett. When he crossed over the center, I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
Like I said, it's week one. Defenses play fantastic week one because the offenses and the offensive line is terrible because that is the most we have to play together position in football. Offensive linemen all have to that just gets better with time. And so
I agree.
I think that's why all the defenses started looking good this weekend.
Not to mention, I do think that I forgot where I was going with this. No, never mind. Doesn't matter. Point is, I was gonna say a lot of these games had really bad weather, so I think a lot of these stats are really skewed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So look, Cleveland, it's a good win for you. I don't relish the idea of Deshaun Watson getting his confidence up, but I feel like this will, and I'm curious as to where this Browns team ends up. I'm not scared. I'm not nervous to play this team. I'm just curious to see what exactly transpired with the Cleveland Browns. All right.
Week 6
moving
on.
will
be a good game.
For what?
Week 6 when they play the 49ers. That'll be a good test.
That's good. That's not bad. Up next we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The Vikings were showed up. They had their cool throwback uniform. They were ready. Where it's the Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles led Browns or Todd Bowles led Buccaneers. What the hell are they going to do against us? Well, beats you's one thing, because what the fuck, Minnie? What the actual fuck?
They played one half, which they turned the ball over. They didn't put points on the board. They put stats up. Holy hell, did they put stats up in the first half? And then they just didn't come out of the locker room, apparently.
Okay, You want to get a feel for this game. Just in the second half, Justin Jefferson had 2 catches for 12 yards. That's all he fucking did in the second half.
Justin Jefferson.
I don't know. Yeah. This is probably the epitome of don't overreact game because I think Baker wasn't great. He had a great second half. That was it. This is a game of 2 halves, really.
Yeah.
The first half, Vikings
a lot of the Vikings
pretty well.
Last year.
Yeah. But again, it really comes down to where I think the Vikings are this year is last year they win this game.
Yeah.
Because and that's the thing, 1-score games they were winning. This year, I think they're going to halve them, maybe. So they're going to go back down about 5 wins instead of the 11 that they got from 1-score games. They're going to lose 5 of them. So I think that's the big difference between Vikings this year and last year is they're not going to win every single 1-score game.
Yeah, and I'll react to the Buccaneers because I still don't fully trust Hubble as the coach or Baker Mayfield as the quarterback. But I do think this shows the Vikings are exactly who we thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're letting Baker Mayfield expose your defense, that's not a good sign.
Well, let's also be fair. Mike Evans, when they finally started using him, was he looked like vintage Mike Evans. So you never can deny that guy. So Baker has a toy he hasn't had in a couple of years as good as someone like Mike Evans. And, Mike Evans looked
that's going to be the that's going to be the big thing for Baker.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he can actually use Mike Evans this year, Bucks might win a couple more games than we were expecting.
Yeah.
And Baker probably keeps the starting job all year. Like, that's the other thing. Like, the way all this game did was probably push, Baker losing the starting job to week 10 instead of week 7.
Instead of week 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, Buccaneers, everyone counted you out. There's still some guys I like on that squad, so congratulations. Apologies to all the Kirk Cousins fans who came out to watch their Coles Cash quarterback throw an absolute fucking Here's the thing: he had like so many yards, but like costly turnover. I will say that costly turnover.
He was at like 275 at the halftime, and then just did nothing in the second half.
In the second half, just like what the fuck, Kirk. I feel like the Vikings at this point are really regretting not trying to trade or not making a better deal for Trey Lance because, the way this goes, this will be Kirk Cousins last year in Minnesota.
Oh,
I think so. Absolutely. Yeah. They're kind of hoping they can get a decent draft because this is a pretty decent class this year, especially if Sanders ends up being who we think he might. That's one that we weren't expecting.
Right.
Like, so there's, you know what I mean? So like there was 4 or 5 going into the year. Now there could be 7. Like there could be 6, 7, who knows? But so yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that transpires. But a good win. Tampa, Minnesota figured out. Up next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Indianapolis Colts. A game that actually not on the docket last year or for last week. Because like somehow I don't know why I just didn't put it on the Stonks docket. And look, I think we all would have picked Jacksonville to win this game. It was looking odd, and a big reason for that is
one of
the most bizarre turnovers we've ever seen.
It's amazing.
First down and 20. As he got rid of the football.
Wait a minute.
This is still a live ball. The refs don't have anything for anything.
What the hell was that?
I have no idea what the fuck.
It's not quite as bad as the Patriots won last year, but my God, it's nearly there. The Patriots
watched that play so many times.
God, like the one thing I thought might happen is the refs blow it dead and say he surrendered, like that he'd surrendered himself. Nope. I'm glad he didn't because that would have been a bullshit call if they had. Going into this game, my thing in this game was I didn't want to bet and touch it with a 10-foot pole. And it wasn't that I thought the Colts could win, but I thought that the Colts would put up a fight. And the only reason that
and they did for a little bit.
They did. They put up a fight. I think like I was more like it's divisional. There was a lot of teams that this year that we've kind of already that we wrote off going into the season. And I think this weekend was really much a few of them, not all of them, but a few of them standing up and going, hey, don't write us off just yet, and have come out with something to prove. They didn't all win, obviously, but I think the Colts, Richardson played well. I thought Richardson played very well.
Like, look, as much criticism we gave to Richardson for having to start week 1, or for the calls for starting Richardson week 1, he proved their loyalty right. Like, yeah, I like looking at this. I'm like, the Colts might have a quarterback.
Yeah, 100%. I was wrong on that one. At least for week 1, he looked way better than I thought he would.
He did. Look, I think it's fairly true. Like we haven't talked about the other one, but I think out of them, the rookies all played relatively well. I think Stroud was probably the weakest of the 3.
I'd say Young was the weakest of the 3. I'd say Young was the weakest.
Okay, I would go Richardson, Stroud, Young in that order.
Okay, fair enough. All right. But I think the Colts definitely they probably have found themselves a quarterback. Richardson was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. He had some really nice. The pick wasn't his fault. Like the pick was we're desperate. It's the end of the game. It's a desperation. I'm not gonna kill a kid for a desperation pick when you're just trying to win the game because it's less than 2 minutes to go. I don't like those. Don't count for me at least.
And if Jonathan Taylor was in this game, they might have had a shot. Their run game killed them in this game because they had nothing. Yeah.
On the side of Jack, so
yeah, Jonathan Taylor is the same thing as Travis Kelce was to the Chiefs. That offense would have operated differently if he had been there, and I think they might have had a chance if he was there.
On the side of Jacksonville, though, a great addition that we're seeing. Well, first of all, Trayvon Walker had a really good game in his first week. Trying to live up to that first overall pick hype. Biggest addition to Jacksonville might have been, I think, and Jacob, you called it Calvin Ridley.
Calvin, what a game!
Holy shit, Calvin Ridley's fucking good.
He's back. Calvin Ridley's back. He has a genuine argument to put himself in the top 5 receivers currently. Like he's looking real good and real scary. Next week, I can't wait for next week's game for them just to see. Okay, how do you? Yeah, I think it'll be a really good test for both of them to be like, where are you? So I'm really curious. Trevor Lawrence played okay. I didn't think he played spectacular. I think at the end of the game he played pretty well, but
he had a good first quarter and a good fourth quarter. The second and third were a little
yeah.
But also going up against a Colts defense that got their best player back in Shaq Leonard. I'm pretty sure he played this game. I don't recall seeing him being out. So as far as I know, Shaq Leonard's playing, best player on their defense. So going against a slightly tougher Colts, but a Colts team that might be friskier than we thought.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Up next, going to, quite frankly, I think we all agree, one of the worst games of the week. But it was just so bland.
It was everything I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all thought it would be pretty bland. The biggest shame of this game is that Derrick Henry murdered a man, and in the end, it didn't even matter.
Didn't matter.
If I can get the clip loaded, I will play it. But yeah, it didn't even matter that King Henry. Oh, here we go.
The king has returned.
Down for a step forward to Marcus May.
Fucking dominated that boy. And in the end, it didn't matter. Why? Why did it not matter? Because the Titans, despite the addition of DeAndre Hopkins and first-round pick Traylon Burks, still have absolutely no passing game. And that all comes down to Ryan Tannehill. He was fucking awful in this game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tannehill, the veteran quarterbacks, the worst one of the week.
He's done. I think he's done. I think this is his last season. He might transition to a backup role. I just don't. But the Titans are in this weird spot where what do they do? Like, they've got two backups that they need to figure out which one are we picking because
I think it's Levis.
Well, that's the thing. We didn't really. Everything we saw of Willis last year was bad, but then in preseason he wasn't too bad. But then Levis as well. He's also not. We haven't seen him.
He got hurt, so you couldn't see anything from him. Willis played entire preseason games. Which when do you see that? He was the second and third game. He got every single snap. So. We don't know what they have in Levis yet because of the injury, but Tannehill is easily way, way up on my list of first starting quarterback to get benched.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked if he isn't. Sorry,
one of those I could see very happy. On the other side, though, Derek Carr looking very comfortable in his new role as quarterback with the Saints.
Game manager.
Game manager. Use weapons well. I don't like the Saints' offensive scheme, which is why you're seeing such a weird stat line, 305 yards, only one touchdown. I don't like that. That just tells me bad offensive scheming. At the same time, though, Olave had a great game.
Yeah, Olave just didn't get involved early enough because, like, if you watch the beginning of that game, it wasn't a lot to Michael Thomas. I was surprised how much he was targeting Thomas early in the game. In the second half of the game, then it became the Olave show. But Michael Thomas, it looked like for a minute there, it was like, hey, is he back to form? And then he just fell off the face of the earth in the second half of the game.
This is the Saints are going to be a by default team. I think, you know, congratulations, whoever gets like either Cowboys or Eagles. Congratulations, you're getting a very easy first week playoff game. I just this is going to be a by default.
You think they'd be the oh yeah, okay. Now I see what you mean.
First wild card, yeah.
I see what you mean. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, this game was just again, not much to say about this game. It's just pretty bland all around. Again, props to, Henry murdered a man, didn't even matter. I do also one more thing. I do got to question the decision of making Mike Vrabel, who kicks a field goal in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left when you're down by 4. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I like Vrabel's coach. Like, that's just a bad decision.
Yeah, that was weird.
All right.
The only thing I can think of, the only reason I can possibly think of is he really doesn't trust Tannehill, and he just went, kick the field goal. We can try and get an onside kick, and then we're in field goal range. And that's why I know we cannot win with Tannehill. And that way I can run it up the gut with a minute left, get Henry and then spike it or something, and we're right in field goal range. That is the only possible reason, which at that point, just bench him. If you are that confident, if you like, he clearly doesn't trust him anymore. Just bench the kid. Like the guy, so and put in the kid.
He's not a kid.
Like, no, like
bench the young man.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's very clear that Vrabel just doesn't trust Tannehill anymore.
Up next, we have the Great Tank versus the New Empire, Washington Commanders versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, one of us is actually a very big supporter of the Commanders coming into this season. You want to rethink that, Jacob?
I wasn't a massive supporter of them.
I gave them more props than any of us.
I said I think they will be good because of Bieniemy. Their offense wasn't awful. It wasn't horrific. Sam Howell played fairly decently. The thing that I took away from this game was the Cardinals aren't the worst team in football. They're up there. They're not the worst. This team. Okay, management is tanking. These players aren't. These players are trying. They're bad. Not like the team. And they probably will get the number 1 pick. But again, the players are trying. They're attempting to win this game because they are playing with some heart, and I kind of like to see it. I'd rather see a team play with heart, and they're trying hard to win this game.
If they lose, it won't be for lack of efforts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Jacob's hitting the nail right on the head there. You know, these are players, you know, with a few exceptions, who on most other teams would probably not be starters. You know, what they have right now, Arizona pretty much is, you know, showing their hand. You know, we know what's going on in Arizona. But the players who are on the field they're throwing their heart into it. And I 100% commend them for it. They might will themselves to a win or two. I don't think it's going to be that much more than that, just because of the talent of the rest of the league.
Oh, I hope they win a game, because the victory speech from Jonathan Gannon is going to be amazing.
AJ just put it in the chat, and I think he's not wrong. This reeks of Lovie Smith's Texans last year. Yeah. It does. It reeks of a team that everyone knew was going to be bad, but they were trying. Every week in, week out, they were trying their hardest. They just weren't starters in the NFL.
Yeah, fair enough. But the defense for the look, they put a big fight. Funniest thing about this weekend to me, the fact that Josh Dobbs had a better stat line than Joe Burrow. That's just going to make me laugh, because, you know, screw Joe Burrow
so much right now. I hate you so much right now.
Look, Joe Burrow and all the other quarterbacks who couldn't do shit this weekend, including the next one we're going to talk about. You should just give your money to quarterbacks who deserve it, like Josh Dobbs. But yeah, like Arizona put up a lot more of a fight than we thought. They may not be the most talented squad, but damn it, they'll try. And Washington, like I said, Sam Howell didn't look too bad. Did not look too bad.
No.
We'll see how they do against. I'm concerned about them against like a real football team.
Okay. They have 4 games this year that I think they're going to be murdered. And then two of them are like it's the 4 games against 2 teams within their own division.
Yeah,
they're going to be killed. But yeah, like don't get me wrong, like Washington aren't going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're a team that can actually make the playoffs, but I think they're a team that are going to go in one week where we all underestimate them and they surprise someone. And I think that's who Washington are this year. They're going to get 1 or 2 wins that we go that they could beat an Eagles one week, or they could be, or where they upset someone where you're like, hey, you shouldn't have won that game, but you did somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we will see how that team transpires. And again, for now, the great take of Arizona rolls on. Up next, we have this is the quarterback I was alluding to, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Houston Texans. But look, story of this game is not what happened on the field. It's what happened after the game, because the Ravens, sadly we've heard this before. Ravens lost several key playmakers on the team. J.K. Dobbins out for the year. Marcus Williams torn pec. Ronnie Staley injured. My question is this: like Jim Harbaugh. Like we talked about last week, we got to bring it up again. What is Jim Harbaugh doing to these men? What is happening in that building?
Okay, this is the same as it's the same conversation about Shanahan. There's something in his scheming that's causing these, or the field, or something. Because this is so just what is going on. Like, how are they constantly being injured every season? And before yesterday, I would have said the Dobbins ones was the most heartbreaking one of the season. Like that was the biggest cost. That was the worst injury so far of the season until yesterday happened. But because that's a huge loss for the Ravens. That one's huge. And
I mean, it was a huge loss the last 3 times it happened too.
But that too, like God, this kid's so unlucky. It's just
he's got such bad luck.
He does.
It is, and that's what's real painful about it. I feel for him, and look, Ravens weren't good this game either. Like I didn't think they were particularly good, but again, it's week 1. This reeked of they didn't play starters in preseason. They didn't that's what this reeked of, and
it's week 1. If you're
luckily,
but still, week 1, if you're struggling against the Texans team. If you're struggling against the Texans defense, that's concerning.
But that's again, unlike the Bengals, they played a really easy team, so that's how they got the win. Whereas in the Bengals had to play a pretty tough defense.
Yeah,
Lamar really had me a little concerned in this game because he had 2 consecutive drives that he just about turned the ball over. Like he lost control of the ball. His ball security was terrible. It was like he wasn't taking the game seriously. And I know, yes, you're playing the Texans. They were running all over them, but Lamar was seriously just whatever. He was so lackadaisical in this game that it almost overshadowed the fact that they did have a breakout star in this game, which was Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers is really good. I really
Zay Flowers had a fantastic game. Had they had to put the pedal to the metal and play the whole game, he might have gotten 150 receiving yards. Obviously, they eased off towards the end, but he had a hell of a first half.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And someone else stood out, another rookie, Will Anderson, the Texans. Holy crap, what a game he had.
We knew that was coming. That kid's a blue chipper. He's the whole way. There is a reason that Houston used their draft capital to get him, and that was I said it on draft day. That was not a stupid pick at all. I know, sure, you don't get that pick next year. Will Anderson's probably not there next year. So I'm totally cool with what they do with that pick.
The only time it would be a dumb pick is if the Texans have an awful season and they gift Arizona the number 1 draft pick. That's going to be the one time where you're like, this wasn't worth it because you could have had Caleb. Like you could have had Caleb Williams, and you just had a. But
Stroud isn't bad. Stroud did not play badly.
No, I think Stroud's got a future.
Yeah, and look, I know the track record of Ohio State QBs is not great, but I do think Stroud could possibly turn around if he keeps developing. So we'll see. Up next, I so wish there were certain people here because we have the Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. Now look, going into this game, Chicago thought, oh man, Boogeyman's gone, Aaron Rodgers ain't there no more. We ain't got no owner. Nobody's gonna stop us. This is Chicago. This is time for Chicago to fight back. And to that I say, ha, bitch, you thought you was done. You thought you was done. But now, no, seriously, it wasn't an ending of ownership. It was a transfer of ownership from Aaron Rodgers, who signed the team over, to your new Lord and Savior, your new owner, Jordan Love.
Love played good.
Love played really good.
Love played good.
He did.
Like not Hall. Look. He's not a future Hall of Famer, most likely, unless he just unless this is the start and he just keeps getting better. Then maybe. But the death of the Packers may have been greatly overstated. It's they looked good. He did that without his number one receiver in Watson either.
That's the thing. Like no Christian Watson in this game.
Yeah, he looked good. The other thing, so I know in predictions we had our top 5 coaches on the hot seat. Yeah, welcome to the hot seat, Matt Eberflus. That was bad coaching. That was bad coaching. They were not ready for this game at all. It was bad coaching, bad play calling. What they're doing with Fields is, what are you do? You're not using him right. Like anyway, it's infuriating what they're doing to this kid. After this week, right now I've got Bears as the worst team in football. This was bad. This was really bad. I don't think they will be by the end of the season, but now, this is
here's the caveat that they're up against their kryptonite in the Packers. So maybe they come up against somebody else. And look, because we always say the Packers can only win 2 games in a season, and they'll both be against the Bears.
And again, this is against a very suspect Bears offensive line who maybe looked a hair better than they did in years past, but the Bears couldn't do anything. Packers defense looked really good. Packers defense looked like a top 5 unit, and 100%. If Love can play 3/4 as good as he did in this game, in most games, they're going to be competitive. It's another team that I was surprised by. We're about to get to the one I was most surprised by because we're in the 4:00 slate. But
I'm so angry at myself for this next one.
But I don't think not this next one. I know the next one.
Okay.
Not the next one.
But Green Bay, hats off to you. They played a really good game. Green Bay played excellent.
Yeah, and look, whenever this next game happens with Jordan on Soldier Field, at some point he's got to do this. Or I still own you, but I own you now.
I own you now. Now I own you.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. Up next, again, this is what I'm saying. This is not the game you're thinking about, because the next game we're talking about is the Raiders versus the Broncos. Look, we had hope coming. Look, I had not all of us, but I had some semblance of hope, because you got a good head coach, Sean Payton. Hopefully, you got to turn Russell Wilson around. You're going against a pretty, let's be real, bad Raiders team with Jimmy G at taking snaps under center. How do you come back and keep doing the same goddamn thing? The same goddamn problems.
Okay. Fairly well known on this show as being the Russell Wilson hater out of the 3 of us.
On him.
This game wasn't Wilson's fault.
No.
This was Sean Payton. This was 1000% on Sean Payton. Yep. And honestly, can someone point to me and say, what about this game was any different to last year?
That's the thing. No, it's like the same. The good defense, stagnant offense, The curse of 16 happens again. Like, look, when I saw that the Broncos were about to go like up 16-10, I'm just like up 13. I'm just like, they better kick a fucking field goal, or else I know what happens next. They kick the field goal. I'm just like, oh fuck. I don't care what happens. The Broncos are gonna lose. Look, last year they lost. They lost every game. They scored 16. They lost. Funny enough, they lost a week 1 game with this exact same score.
This look, the biggest takeaway for me in this game was this. Last year was all about Russell Wilson's ego. This one was Sean Payton's ego, and the kick, the
onside kick.
The onside kick, yeah. I can maybe understand. Maybe as I'm gonna set, like, you know, I'm gonna put my foot down and establish that I am in Denver. This is going to be a new team. This is how I'm running it. If you're gonna do it, it better fucking pay off. And it didn't, and it looked bad, and it was dumb. And and then they went down, they scored. Like it's not like it didn't cost you anything because if you like, you know, oh well, it didn't cost anything. No, that cost you the game because. This is dumb. This loss is 100% on Sean Payton. Wilson didn't play amazing. He was better. He had that opening drive was fantastic. Excellent. That was vintage Russell Wilson. And I went, cool, okay, Wilson's back. If he can continue like this, Wilson's back. He didn't do it again for the rest of the game. And that was a little concerning. But
we also got to look at the fact that the Broncos really have he has no one to throw to. Like two of his top 3 targets are hurt.
Yeah,
when
and
Judy
that is the
concern. Back, maybe. Yeah, when Judy gets back, maybe it'll improve a little bit. You know, because all everybody's going to do is double team Sutton for the time being. Javonte Williams still is coming off an injury. He played fine. He was, you know, he didn't have a bad game. The run game on Denver was not bad. It's just that they couldn't stop anything. And this is the Raiders offense, who has one of the most vanilla offenses in the league. And this is a game where Jacoby Myers, like, all credit to him because he had a phenomenal game, but Jacoby Myers should not be a game wrecker, and he was a game wrecker against this team.
The thing is, you have PS2 who locked down Devontae Adams, and you're still losing.
Yeah.
The Broncos O-line is as bad as advertised. It's they're in for a rough year. They're in for
one thing we haven't talked about the fact that Will Lutz missed a field goal. Or not, he missed the PAT, and they lost by 1.
Yep. Like this is Wilson traded one bad offensive line for another, and this isn't a we were a quarterback away. This is a full rebuild. They're in for an actual rebuild. And it's going to be rough. Now, I don't think the answer is trading Russell Wilson because one, I don't think you can, and I don't think I mean the Jets might right now out of pure desperation, but but at this point,
actually, no, we saw what happened last time. Russell Wilson
I just remember they have Hackett as their coordinator, so they might not. But like it's at this point they're in for the long haul. Then they're not winning a Super Bowl this year. They're not winning one next year. Peyton, I don't know what he's going to have to do, but he's the big takeaway. They missed their picks this year. They needed that first round pick and they missed it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how the team goes. But bottom line, Denver, the ride hasn't stopped. It's just gone the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, one of the more shocking matches of the week. We have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New England Patriots. This is a game that I think some of us thought wouldn't even be close. Here's the thing, though. Jalen Hurts didn't play preseason. When quarterbacks don't play, preseason matters. Quarterbacks don't play all of preseason. They're usually some jitters. We saw that here. I feel like if you play this game later in the season, it's not as close.
Oh, yeah.
It just happened to be like the Patriots defense is actually not bad. It's just that good.
Yeah, this is the second game that you have to put a slight. Okay.
Yeah, conditions sucked. Conditions really sucked.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams' defenses, though, are they both played strong. Both defenses played very strong. If the Eagles did not have the pick six, New England could have won the game. So, it's crazy as it's say, they contained Hurts pretty well.
They did. And again, look, the fact that the weather makes it hard for him to break off those like power run because he can't get distraction because he's gonna be slipping. And Jalen Hurts is he's a strong dude. He's got strong legs. He's a power runner. We've seen it dozens of times last season. But look, New England's offense looked better, I guess.
It looked like they had an offensive coordinator. Like they actually had
like a real one this time.
Yeah, like Mac Jones. Look, I think we're going to get back to the point of last year. I think was unfair for Mac Jones because he is such a low ceiling, high floor quarterback. And last year they just went, "Oh, hey, we got rid of your floor because we didn't give you actual help. Like we didn't give you an offensive coordinator. We didn't and he needed that." I think we're gonna get back to he has a really high floor. Like he isn't going to cost you games, but he probably won't win you ones that were tough games to win. He probably isn't going to win those ones. The Patriots are probably going to end up being a 7-9 team at this point. Like my big takeaway was if they cheapskated Hopkins, they're idiots. They needed to get Hopkins. They needed to get him some weapon and something. And I think that's the Chiefs and all these elite teams that turned him down. I could maybe understand it of hubris of, hey, we don't need you. We're not going to pay you the money that you want. The Patriots needed him. The Patriots needed to pay him the money he wanted, and they needed to pay him, and they need him.
They need offensive weapons definitely. Also, like Bill Belichick does the thing that I don't understand why he does. Like when you're really good at something, he's like, all right, you're good. Reminder: Stevenson got outrushed by a center. Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand why Stevenson didn't get as many carries as Zeke, but no.
I think because Zeke dropped the ball and then he was mad at him.
And Stevenson,
Bill Belichick holds a grudge.
He does.
Yeah. Stevenson did what he always does. He did it. It wasn't running the ball. It was the little dump screen passes. That's where he made his damage. But he ran the ball terribly. Like his run game looked awful.
That's true. But I will give massive props to the Eagles for beating the Patriots on Tom Brady Day of all days.
Yeah.
So I wish I could give the Eagles stonks of the week for that, but I have somebody else.
I am a little concerned about their secondary. That's my one concern with the Eagles is you're going to go up against some genuinely good teams with really good wide receivers and really good down the field and quarterbacks with really good arms. I don't know how well your secondary is going to hold up.
Well, mainly it's safety, not a corner. Mainly it's safety.
Yeah, so that is my one concern.
Slay still had a really good game. Especially that one pass where I got away from him and he still managed to break it up. Like that's maybe the best corner play I've seen from the entire week. But yeah, I think safety is a bigger concern with the Eagles than corner. But I do understand this problem with the secondary. Jalen Carr is like a fucking game wrecker.
Their D-line looks good.
Their D-line was excellent.
Oh yeah. Their D-line's good. Their D-line is that's not the concern. The concern is secondary.
You're not running against the Eagles. Like you are going in there and you are throwing the ball for 30, 40 times if you're playing the Eagles.
Yeah, that's again. I can't wait to see the 49ers play this team. That's the matchup. Because that to me is going to be where are you, Brock? You are going to have to throw this ball. Where are you?
If he tears UCL again in that game, I'm gonna laugh. If he goes against the Eagles, the same thing happens. It'll be tragic, but it'll be kind of hilarious. All right. Up next, we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Seattle Seahawks. And you know what? This game served as one grim reminder. Not grim reminder, but like a good reminder that NFL players are still, in fact, human. I'm trying to pull it.
On third down,
Smith. Pressure comes late, and it's incomplete. That pressure coming from Aaron Donald.
That's my favorite. I love that was hot mics. Just, oh my
Oh,
god!
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. This is the one I'm furious at myself for because I let you guys talk me out of the Rams. They looked good. They looked good.
No, here's the thing. Like Stafford, low-key had like one of the best QB performances of the entire weekend that nobody's talking about. Like, I get no touchdowns, but we can put up over 350 yards without your best receiver. That's incredible.
They
And
look, I get it. It's the Rams, and I don't think they're going to be well beaters later in the season. But like, they're right now they're a top 15 team. I think they're in that upper echelon of teams. And I'm annoyed that I was talked down to them tanking. I don't think they're tanking. They're gonna play hard this year. They're gonna try.
Well, because we didn't know where Stafford was at, and Stafford looked really good.
I said last week Stafford was one of my picks as a potential comeback player of the year. The way he played this week, 100%.
Oh yeah,
he's
absolutely
definitely in there. And a new household name, perhaps, Puka Nacua.
Yeah,
had one hell of a game.
Yeah, when the issues are Van Jefferson and Puka Nacua, I'm just like, what? How? Well, I mean, look, good job. Like, I love Stafford. I've always been a fan of Stafford. I'm happy he had a good game. I feel this Geno looked like the Geno we've seen prior to last year. Like you're
talking old Geno.
Fairy tale might be over.
Yeah, it might be. He might be riding back. He might be riding back.
But here's the thing: it could also just be it's week one, and so like the difference between last year was the NFL did the Seahawks the biggest favor in the world. They put the highly emotional, we have to get up for this game first. They didn't have that this year, so it's going to be a lot harder for them to have gotten up for this a game where they were favored to go in against the Rams, who again a divisional rival, but it's still not one that they were at home. Yeah, they were massively favored to win this game. A Rams team that everyone had kind of written off. The NFL didn't do Seahawks the massive giant favor they did last year. Sorry. So we'll see what happens going forward. But the Seahawks right now, a little worried. The two injuries are huge. That is a big. The O lineman injuries for the Seahawks are bigger than I think anyone's really talking about. So we'll see what happens down the line, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm curious to see what this Rams team does. I think like a good test for Stafford and the whole team is gonna be next week, especially with no cup. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I'm also good.
I was gonna say I think if anyone whose team had penciled in, we're getting Aaron Donald or we're getting Cooper Kupp, I wouldn't be believing that now. I think you're not getting him this year. They're staying as a Ram this year.
Unless catastrophe happens, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, moving up. Up next is what we all agreed was our game of the week. And it was the Miami Dolphins taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Holy shit, what a shootout. And look, say what you want about Tua. You can say what you want about Tua, but you have to say Miami is a considerably better team when he is on the field.
Absolutely.
And this game features my Stunks player of the week. Tyreek Hill went just God mode in this game.
I have a feel it's mine too. So he was incredible this week. Absolutely incredible.
He's my offensive stocks player of the week. So absolutely.
The defensive one too. Okay, interesting.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
But this game, my biggest single takeaway from this game, Staley's done at the end of the year. This is Staley's last year as a Chargers head coach.
Well, given the
you
fact
are
that
a defensive
so fucking
coach.
awful.
You are a defensive coach. For 3 years, this defense has been awful, like genuinely awful. And he's done by the end of the year. And I think they need to go out, get themselves an offensively minded coach, and just to try and build something here, because the ending of that game wasn't on Herbert. And I know that, hey, Herbert, here's the ball. You've got to go and go down and score a touchdown. And I get that. But you let Tua.
It was a shootout all around. It came down to the last drive. Miami scored within the last 2 minutes. So I thought, oh, okay, Herbert's gonna come in. He's gonna bail out his awful coach yet again. Yeah.
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Ah! Phillips has got him! Phillips has got him!
Yeah, Herbie got murdered on the final play of the game.
That is because that is on. I'll give Fangio all the credit in the world for that. Hadn't called blitz all game. Last play, they weren't expecting it. They weren't expecting a blitz for the last play of the game, and that's on Fangio. That's well done. That was incredible defensive play calling. But again, that's not on Herbert, because if you let your team have 466 passing yards against you, 466, that's insane. And you are a defensive-minded coach. He was outclassed, outcoached by McDaniels. McDaniel's a really good coach. That's the biggest takeaway I have from this game. That Staley's done by the end of the year. I'll be shocked if Staley's still coaching next year.
And look, you look at the numbers that the Chargers, but Austin Eckler was a game wrecker in this game. Like, he just so happened to be, Tyreek Hill was in the game, so he got overshadowed. But Austin Eckler was a game wrecker in this game, absolutely. And the Chargers offense, that is not the issue. The Chargers offense played phenomenally. It's just Miami came out and put their foot on the gas and never relented.
And keep in mind, Tua threw for nearly 500 yards without his starting left tackle.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And Bosa and Mac didn't do shit.
Yep. But the other big takeaway as well, the Chargers have a run game finally. It wasn't just Eckler.
Yeah.
It was that run game was amazing. Herbert's 228 looks bad when compared to Tua's, but that's because they didn't need him to throw the ball. They weren't until that final drive. They didn't need throwing the ball. They needed passing. They needed running, and he was just running up the gut, and that's what they were doing, and it was working. The defense is where this team is being really let down. Which, when you look at the team and you go, how much money, how much draft capital, how much just everything have you thrown into this defense for it to be this bad?
Yeah. All right, that's it for our game of the week. Moving on to our Sunday night game, if you even want to call it that. The Dallas Cowboys went to New York. Keep in mind, at a game where they were commemorating 9/11, one of which was commemorating 9/11, came in and just absolutely upended the New York Giants. Like, holy fuck! Like, the game, Brian Dable, former coach of the year, coming out wearing an NYPD hat, which I firmly believe the NYPD called him at halftime, telling him to take it off because we don't want to be associated with this. This is a game where the Giants just couldn't do shit. Literally couldn't do shit. They got blown the fuck out at home in their opener. And I'm just gonna say it real quick. All the Giants are my not stonks of the week.
Yes, no argument. It's just holy crap.
It was gonna be Tony, but nah. I mean, there's three arguments. There's three
Tony's
people.
very close. Because Tony did cost him the game. But when nobody on your team could.
Who lost?
When nobody can do anything, that's
literally the only player on offense who looked halfway. Barkley was putting an effort in, but he didn't look himself. Waller was the only player on that team that I think that, and they barely targeted him. That's the only player on the Giants I think who played anything at all. The rest of the team was garbage.
And look, here's the thing. I'm not gonna look. Daniel Jones was bad. He wasn't good. I am not going to try and defend Daniel Jones, but he also was getting no time. He was being murdered by the best defense in football. The Cowboys came out and put this game on.
Yeah,
the Giants' interior line is fucking awful.
It is, but the Giants came out. The Cowboys came out with the flag, this giant ass flag, and said, "Nope, best defense in football. We are
7
it."
sacks.
And that
7 sacks, 3 turnovers.
Just incredibly well played. Offensively, I'm a little concerned. There were some throws. Oh, there was
That's
some
my
bad
thing.
throws.
Like, offensively, granted, the stat line for Dak looks horrendous. The thing is, he didn't have to do anything.
Didn't have to do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the game for 3 quarters. He didn't have to do anything. Like it's just the times he was in.
Yeah, when this team has to do something, I'm a little concerned. Offensively, when they have to do something offensively, I'm a little concerned. But we'll see when that happens. But yeah, I can't even.
Yeah.
Like, I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I can't hate him for this. This was a great performance by that team.
This is brilliant. This was makes me feel a little bit okay. Makes me feel a little more confident about my Cowboys Super Bowl pick because the Bengals one made me very nervous, but the Cowboys making it, I was like, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
And again, as a native Texan, I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't do it.
That's my only big fear of this is Dak threw some balls that should have been picked. There was some that were, that wasn't good. That was dangerous, and a better team probably gets it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see when they go up against like a better defense and a better offense. Being quite frank,
we'll find out next week.
Defense.
We'll find out next week. Yeah, well, on one end, and so we get into our final game of the week, Monday Night Football. This was our upset of the week. Now you may ask, why was this the upset? It's the Jets who you touted as being very good versus the Buffalo Bills. Why is this the upset of the week? Context. Look, everyone was excited for this game because of the debut of Aaron Rodgers in New York. That debut lasted all 75 seconds. On the 4th offensive play of the game, Aaron Rodgers tears the Achilles tendon, and he's done for the year. So yeah, at that point, Jets. Look. Here's the thing: the beginning of the game when Aaron Rodgers ended with the flag, that crowd was electric. Like, I have never seen a team embrace a player that wholeheartedly who had never played a snap for him in their life. That died once he got hurt.
When he ran out with the flag, as a Bills fan, I went, "Oh fuck!" This crowd's gonna get real behind him, and I was really nervous. When he went down, what surprised me the most was how innocuous it was. It wasn't a hard hit. It wasn't like it wasn't an illegal hit. If it, like the Bills player, he lands on his knees to like not have force on him. Like it's one of those ones where it reminded me of Ben's, of when Ben did it 2 years before he retired, where it was, this is like not his knee, but he did his elbow, but it was so innocuous. And how did you do that? That's kind of what it felt like.
Well, yeah. When you see it in slow motion, you literally just see like his tendons snap. You're like, oh god, no. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers his season is done. His career might be done also. We'll get into more of that later. But more of that. All optimism for the Jets fan at this moment died.
How did the Jets fan feel?
Yeah. As a Jets fan, how did you feel when that happened?
I went through all of the stages of grief last night and created some new ones. So it was one of the biggest roller coasters of a game I've ever watched in my life as a Jets fan, because you literally are, obviously they didn't get the ball first, but 75 seconds into having the ball, and it's like, oh my God, everything that we had building up just came crashing down all at once.
That's the thing. Like, of all the things that could possibly go wrong for the Jets in Week 1, this was on nobody's bingo book. God himself never saw this coming.
No.
It was like the entire offseason was built around Aaron Rodgers. Everything they did with this organization was built around him. And all of a sudden, just like that,
Gone.
One series, he's out. And then I have to have the person who makes my blood pressure rise more than anybody on the face of the earth, Zach Wilson, come back in. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I have to deal with another season of this shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, the certainties in life: death, taxes, Green Bay owning Chicago, and Jets fans being able to have nothing good in this world. But you know what? It's okay. You know why? Because the Bills decided to play the sympathy card. Josh Allen must have felt really bad because he decided to give out some charitable donations during the game. Here's a good sense of how bad he was in this. He was picked off 3 times by the same guy.
That's the stonks player of the week to me. Jordan Whitehead, stonks player of the week.
Oh, that's your defensive stonks player of the week? I get that. Here's the thing. Jordan Whitehead had an incentive in his contract. If he got 3 picks in this season,
he got it in week 1.
$200,000 bonus. He did that in 1 game.
Yep.
And it's all because of Josh Allen. And it's not like they were like, it's not like he got like hit and like the ball, he let the ball go. No, like these were balls you like an arm punch.
Right,
okay, I'll give you that one. But the double coverage was bad, where he could have ran and gotten a first down. But he decided, fuck it, down there somewhere.
The first one was a punt. The first one, again, it's not great, but it was a punt. It was kind of out of desperation. I'm not going to kill him for the first one. The second one felt like a symptom of the off-season of I need to give Diggs the highlight play. That's what that one felt like. That felt like, here, Diggs, go for the highlight play, and it didn't work. I'm going to kill him for that one, but I'm not going to I can maybe, if that was the only one, I could maybe justify it because it was at least an arm punt that I could maybe kind of understand. The third one, that was dumb. That was as bad as Daniel Jones's throw. That one was that bad where I just went, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then the fumble. Just fall on the freaking thing. That's all he had to do. But he played hero ball, and it drives me mad. I love this kid, and he plays hero ball, and I need him to stop. All off season, we have been hearing he's not going to play hero ball anymore. He's not going to play hero ball anymore. He's going to be smarter. He's not going to run to save his he's not going to run like his life. He's not going to put his body on the line or anything. Nope. One game he's done all of it. He was terrible. There was an argument for him being not Stonks player of the week. I'm that annoyed right now, but I calmed down. Still have no optimism. I'm very worried about this Bills team.
Josh Allen gave a performance rivaling his rookie form. Inaccurate, turnover prone. I didn't realize how turnover prone Josh Allen was. I really saw the stats. He's had 90 turnovers in the last 20 games. Maybe he's not 20, but
no, he's had 90 his entire career. He's had 90. In 4 years he's had 90. That's not good.
Why is it 90 and 20? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's
He's at 90 turnovers in his career. That's wow, that's kind of horrendous. But most of any players they've entered the league. But so look, they got a fumble. Jets recovered it, couldn't put it in the end zone. Had to settle for a field goal. Bills were able to go back, answer the field goal, push it to overtime. Which I know Jay. I was on college when overtime started. He was not in a good space because he knows how the Bills go in overtime. They won the coin toss, got the ball 1-3 now, punted, and this game was ended by a punt return. The third punt return ending overtime ending punt return touchdown in NFL history, and the Bills are at the receiving end of it.
So you know how I can't remember if I said this on the prediction show or not, but no, I think I took it back because I decided to go all optimistic. I regret that decision. This is McDermott's last year as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. I'm almost certain of it. They're going to miss the playoffs, and 13 seconds destroyed this team. 13 seconds killed this team. They never recovered, and McDermott will not be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills next year.
Well, we talked about players on the. Well, first of all, I think this is Ken Dorsey's last year as offensive coordinator. That's for sure.
Oh, I think Ken Dorsey's gone by midseason at this point. If he keeps going like we need to go get an offensive coordinator who just convinces Josh Allen, hey, stop throwing goddamn interceptions and stop playing hero ball. Like they need someone who is actually able to get to him the way that Daboll did, and Ken's not it.
Yeah, but someone else who I think is could be gone. Like we talk about trade deadlines all the time. Stephon Diggs might be filling out his resume and calling his agents just because, like, I can't do this no more.
Look, I'm definitely in a little bit of a panic mode. Next week they play the Raiders. They lose that.
They're not
Diggs
losing that.
It's
a 1 o'clock.
No.
It's a 1. They're not losing that.
They're not. But if they do, Diggs isn't on this team by the deadline. So he will demand a trade by the deadline. If they lose that game, the next game the Bills can afford to lose, and realistically they can't afford to lose, but the next one where it's like, okay, we can kind of understand that, is the Dolphins game, and they can't really because that's a home divisional.
Right.
The next one where it's really like the fans won't murder them is the Jaguar game because it's in London and Jacksonville are coming, and the NFL have just screwed us because Jacksonville get a whole week's of rest in London, and where we rock up after a tough conference game. So like that's gonna be fun. But that's the real. We have to go. We at the end of that Jags game, we have to be 2-5. If we're not, there's going to be real questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions surrounding the Bills. Honestly, the Bills might have suffered. I say this full well, no, I haven't the Giants that before. The Bills might have had the most embarrassing loss in MetLife over the past weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy. I did want to say,
like,
my roller coaster of emotions last night. This is I said this in our group chat. This is probably going down for me. Obviously, I've never seen them win the Super Bowl because I was, not even close to being alive at the time. But this game is going to be a top 5 all-time memorable game for me because of everything that went down in it. And we had Hard Knocks this year, and there was a player who I fell in love with between Hard Knocks, One Jets Drive, and the preseason, and his name was Xavier Gibson. I was rooting for him the entire time to make the squad. And when that kid ran it back, I almost jumped through my ceiling. When I almost put a hole in my ceiling in my living room because I jumped up that high when he made that play. And then I just pure elation of this win that we should not have in any way, shape, or form have had. All of a sudden, I have this incredible elation that 10 minutes is just brought right back down, realizing that Zach Wilson is going to be the quarterback for the
That's the thing. The Jets might have won the battle, but they've definitely lost the war. Why?
Yeah.
This is a team that was built for Aaron Rodgers, solely for Aaron Rodgers, and now you have no Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jets. So yeah, even when the Jets win, they lose. Bigger losers, Green Bay, because now
they miss out on the first.
They do not get the first round pick. Mm-hmm. So Green Bay, congratulations. Aaron Rodgers found a way to disappoint you yet again. And biggest losers, good.
I was going to say one other thing that has to be said. Breece Hall, wow.
Great game. Breece Hall. Great game.
Oh, he's back. And again, I think that's the heartbreak of all of this. They looked good. They looked real good. They look scary good. And that's the biggest heartbreak of all of it is if you have competency at quarterback, oh man.
Yeah. I'm getting to that right now, but yeah. So even though they won, losers, Jets, bigger losers, the Packers, biggest losers, the fans. Not just Jets fans, football fans. Why? This team still has 5 more primetime games this year.
Oh,
With
yeah.
Zach Wilson at the helm.
Yeah.
Buckle up, fan. This is gonna be this is the Broncos all over again. I'm not just saying that because
Not only
Dan
that,
Hackett's on the squad.
we have been completely robbed. We will never I'm 99% sure confident we will never get Rodgers versus Mahomes. It's never going to happen. Like because unless it's a playoff, unless it's in the playoffs, they don't play. They're not going to play each other next year. Like this was the year that they played each other.
The conferences play each other.
Yeah.
And then
good.
The other thing is, do you know what the anniversary of today is, Mike? As a Jets fan.
Oh, Testaverde?
Yes, the 2
24.
Yeah.
24 years to the day when Testaverde did the exact same thing.
And Vinny was there last night.
He was there for the coin toss.
Honorary captain. Like
it's just one of those. This is this. You say God himself didn't know. No, God had a sense of humor. God was like, "Oh, this will be the single funniest thing in the entire world." And for everyone other than Jets fans, it kind of is. But then also, it's like that's just cruel. That's just
I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers being out for the year is bad for football because again, Aaron Rodgers is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. That's probably a big conversation. Is will Aaron Rodgers retire after this? I don't think he will. I don't think that he wants this to be the way he goes out. I don't think he wants this to be the way his career ends. And firmly, like what Hard Knocks showed me, like what Aaron showed me, is that he's embraced New York and New York has embraced him. I don't think he would let this be the only memory of him playing for the New York Jets. So I firmly do believe he will be back next season. But I think if we're tired, I get it. If he was tired, I get it, but I think he'll be back.
My one concern is this injury is not an easy one to come back from. For a 39-year-old, this is the type of injury where it is a career ender. For a 39-year-old to come back, he will be 40. Not only that, it is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers for the next 8 months. Your feet are up, and you're sitting at home, and that is all you're doing. You are not moving. You are not going for walks. You are not going and going to California with a lifestyle that, to go on hikes or go to ayahuasca, like do all this up. You are 8 months of. I mean, you can do ayahuasca instead. You can do ayahuasca. But he has 8 months of pure 100% rehab to maybe make it back by training camp. That's the concern. That is someone's going to have to sit down with Rodgers and say that to him. And when that reality, I firmly believe for 2 months, Rodgers will be back. It's when the reality of what the next year of Aaron Rodgers' life is going to be like, that he might go, I can't do this.
So, and I agree. I agree with pretty much everything he said. I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants that to be the last play of his career. I think he's gonna want to go out more on his own terms, one way or the other. But to Chance's point, about football, taking a blow. Last night was the highest rated ESPN Monday Night Football ever. So, I mean, right there is everything you need to know. Like, the people were ready to watch this. The Aaron Rodgers in the AFC, with the Jets, something that, and playing a super marquee game, because Buffalo is also at this point is must-watch football. So you had this was a powerhouse game that we're going to get to see twice this year, and football as a whole now. Okay, so this next Buffalo versus Jets game is not going to get even half of the audience probably that this one did.
Like, going through that, they're 5 prime time. The Chiefs one, again, like fair enough. Like that
Early.
one wouldn't have been moved, and that one wouldn't have been moved anyway. The Chargers one, again, that's God. We were robbed of that. That would have been a great. Oh God, that would have been a great game to see now.
The Raiders one.
The Raiders one's the tough one. That I think that one will be moved. If they can, they'll move the Raiders one. There's no way they keep that on. And then the
Browns one's on Thursday.
The Browns one that they might
get
move
worked
that. That probably because it's week 17, so they might. But it's also a week 17 game, and they will have dealt with Christmas. They would have dealt with all of that, so they might not. Especially it being like New Year's and
my
stuff.
question for the Jets is what the hell they do now at quarterback, because like they've already all admitted they don't trust Zach Wilson. So what the fuck do they do?
I think it's gonna be Wilson. They're gonna pick somebody up. I'm sure they already have a couple. Joe Flacco seems like the obvious choice because he's been in, he was there last year. It seems like the most obvious option. There's a chance of Carson Wentz. You could go Colt McCoy. One of them is going to get brought in, but Wilson's going to get the first opportunity.
I think Colt's probably the smartest choice because he is a career backup. He is someone who is very flexible with new roster, new schemes, and understanding new scheme and going into a new playbook. I don't think Carson Wentz is the right choice, even though I think that is the first phone call they make. Which I think it's the one that a GM goes, that's our first phone call. But I think it's the wrong one for them because I think Carson Wentz will come in with his ego and his attitude, and I don't think it will gel well at all with where this team is. I think the other the one, look, I'll guarantee you there have been I guarantee you Johnson had the conversation with Salah and the GM. I don't know who GM is at the moment. My brain's just not working. Douglas, I had the conversation of, do we call Brady? I guarantee you that conversation was had, straight up would have been thrown out the window. Brady's not coming to save this team.
I firmly, the only reason Brady would come back is if he would come back and lose every game intentionally just to troll Jets fans one more time.
There's one name though that I think has not really been brought up, which is a little intriguing, and they can do a reverse Belichick on this, and that's Malik Cunningham, because then they have the first time ever, because Belichick has done it to the Jets forever. The Jets will cut a player, and Belichick signs him to the practice squad, and he knows the Jets playbook. The Jets could finally reverse cycle that if they do with Cunningham. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's an idea to throw out there.
One that I think, it would cost you draft capital to do this. Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
Call the Falcons. What do you want for Heineke?
The one again, it will cost you draft capital that would fuck up the other team because I think it would cause unnecessary drama. What do you want for Cooper? I ain't called Cowboys and say, what do you want for Cooper Rush?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Because one, they want Trey Lance as an insurance policy. Trey Lance is their insurance policy, so I do not think they will trade Trey Lance at all, unless you overpay him by giving up a first or something, which would just be hilarious because it's like you could have had him anyway. But anyway, that's beside the point. I don't think that they do Trey Lance. I think they could call. I think they could go, hey, we'll take Cooper for a second or a third.
Yeah,
I could see that.
You want Trubisky? Please,
no,
please. We will give you draft picks to take Trubisky off our hands.
We'll take 3 first and Mitch for a washing machine.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll give you Trubisky, and we'll throw in Matt Canada in no charge.
We already have Hackett. We don't need Canada.
You can do something. Make him the janitor. I don't know.
Make him the quarterback coach.
Yeah, make him the quarterback coach. All right, that's gonna do for our week one recap. We now move on to our week 2 predictions as well as stunks that's the wrong banner. What the hell? Shit. Damn,
the Vikings versus the Eagles.
My thing for us. God bless.
Yeah, Vikings Eagles should be the first one.
It is. I clicked the wrong thing. Here we go. Week 2 prediction: stonks or not stonks? A friend of mine, none of us are happy right now, and I'm gonna pass off stonks or not stonks this week to the only winner of the three of us, Mike.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Vikings Eagles is this week. I easily have the Eagles winning this after seeing what the Vikings did this week. And it's primetime Kirk Cousins.
And let's say it's Kirk Cousins in prime time. We know how this plays out.
So for this one, yeah.
This is the statement of no. Last week was the mirage. Like we're not that bad. This is Jalen Hurts coming out and putting on a statement.
So the Eagles obviously have this running back by committee. I'm going to say of any of them, do any of them have that breakout? So I'm going to throw out DeAndre Swift. Stonks or not stonks?
Against this defense, I could see him being stonks, especially because like he has familiarity with the defense playing with Detroit. I'll go slide stonks for Swift.
I'll go stonks.
I like it. All right, next game.
Trying to throw it up. It is not going.
I'm assuming it's Green Bay and Atlanta because we had that up.
You assume correct. There it is.
For me, this one is also pretty easy to pick. I think Green Bay's got this pretty handily. Atlanta against that defense, I just don't see Atlanta being able to put up the points. Love's not going to have to play great. He's going to have to play okay. Maybe it'll be a lower scoring game than some think it is, but I can't see Atlanta putting the firepower up to even keep up with Green Bay putting 17 on the board.
Yeah, this is a good test of Green Bay's defense. Like, it's a good test to see, all right, how good is your run defense actually? Like, can you stop Robinson? And if they can, this game's over.
I think Atlanta's secondary is actually pretty solid, so I do think it's going to be closer than we think. I wouldn't be shocked if Atlanta won, but I am leaning Green Bay.
This is Green Bay in a close one.
Speaking of Green Bay, let's go Jordan Love.
I'm going to say not stonks, actually.
No, I think I'm going to say stonks. No, I think he does well. I think he does decently. Maybe not amazing, but I think he does decently.
All right, so we got 1 and 1. All right, up next.
Wow, this is a
marquee matchup here.
I got a lot of mistakes being made in this game. I just think it's going to be, based on what we saw last week, the Colts have more talent overall right this minute. Houston's going to put up a fight. I don't think it's an outright blowout, but I got the Colts.
I got the Colts, but not in an ugly game. Like a really ugly game. I think Richardson gets sacked at least twice, but I think Stroud doesn't play particularly well either. Like, I think it's just an ugly game.
I also got Indy in this one.
So we're gonna take a look at Indy. I'm gonna go with Michael Pittman.
I like him in this game.
Not
I like him stonks.
I'm gonna say not stonks because I think Carter's gonna murder this poor kid.
Anderson.
Yep. God damn it! I keep doing that.
All right.
Stay away from betting on this one. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ditto. Yeah, I agree.
That's 1.5 points. Stay away from it. That's absolutely not worth it.
All right, your boys are up, Jacob.
Look, I think we will win. I think we're going to be mad. Raiders might be a little overconfident after last week. Because, look, I know they beat Denver. They weren't great. They were better than we thought they would be, but they weren't amazing. Garoppolo didn't make mistakes. My biggest concern is that defense. I think that is how well does our pass rush go up against them? And I think we have it's non-existent for the Bills. So Garoppolo's going to have all the time in the world. That's my concern. How are we going to do there? I think it's closer than it should be, but Bills win.
Look, if the Bills can't put away this team handedly, that's cause for concern.
Yep, I agree. And
Um,
again, the Raiders don't play well in the early slate. They never do. So I got the Bills by 2 scores.
8.5 points is the spread.
They cover it, I think.
Hey, I
don't like it. That's too much.
Well, let's talk on the Raiders side of the ball. Devontae Adams.
Stonks. Garoppolo has time to throw it to him.
But Buffalo does have Trey White.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a tough matchup. I'm going to lean slight not Stonks for me just because I feel like they have the secondary to contain Devontae Adams. All right, so up next, have Baltimore versus Cincinnati. AFC North bout.
I think Cincinnati has to make a statement, and for that reason and that reason alone, I am going with them. I think Burrow has to recover. There is no way that Cincinnati is going to come out in this game flat-footed. They are going to come out and try to make a statement early and often. So, do I think this is an outright blowout? No, but do I think that Cincinnati is going to come out firing? Yes.
Again, the playoff notwithstanding, because that was a weird game.
Yeah.
Ravens have really struggled against the Bengals since Burrow's been there. They have really struggled against this team. So I could see, I think Bengals come out, they're mad, they're angry, and they come out and they win this pretty handedly. -3 points, I think they cover.
What's the over/under on this?
-3. Bengals -3.
No, what's the over/under on points?
The over/under 46.5.
Take the under.
Don't think there'll be yeah, I could see it. I could see that.
AFC North ball. I don't trust it. No, take the under. It's a tough defense to go up against. The injuries do make them a factor in this, so I'm gonna lean towards Cincy, but I think it's gonna be an ugly game.
So
I just love how the fact that all it's sorry.
You go because I was going to have this.
I just love how all it's taken is within 2 years of Burrow playing really well for Bengals to become your like rival within the division, because you would have never hated the Bengals this much.
Well, yeah, they got a little bitch at quarterback. Get a man like Carson Palmer, and then I won't hate this team.
Are you telling me right now if Burrow was available, you wouldn't take him?
No. Burrow was available, and I didn't take him. So there's my answer.
Let's talk this week, Mr. Goose Egg, T. Higgins. Stonks or not stonks?
Oh, stonks.
With Baltimore having no corners, stonks.
Stonks. He has to. Plus, also, they need to get his trade value up because they are going to be trading him before the deadline. Because they want something for him.
I mean, they could trade him they can't trade him at the end of this year. Never mind. Or tag him and trade him.
Yeah, if he signs the trade, if he signs the tag, right. He has to sign the tag to be able to be traded.
That's true. All right, up next, Kansas City taking on Jacksonville.
Could be the game of the week.
Could be.
This could be. I'm really excited for this game. I think this is. It's one of those games where I'm actually really frustrated that Colts lost, because it would have made this one even more fascinating if someone's going 0-2. Yeah, which would have just been fascinating. Look, the spread's -3 to Kansas City, which Jags is a home dog. I really don't like that. I'm gonna say Kansas City, but they don't cover.
This is pissed off Patrick Mahomes, I'm going Kansas City all day.
I like the upset on this one. Give me Jacksonville.
Wow, nice. So
This is you also got to remember this is the team that gave Patrick Mahomes his high ankle sprain last season, even though it meant nothing. But yeah.
So how about almost Mr. Not Stonks from last week, Kadarius Toney?
Not Stonks again.
He has a better game. No, he has a better game. Okay. I don't know if you can, but if you can put money on who is the first person to get a target, Tony, the Chiefs' first target, I guarantee you, is Tony. He will throw the ball straight to Tony on his first target, just to be like, I still trust this man.
Does he have to catch it? Is my question. For me to catch it on the bet, does he have to catch it?
I don't know. No, I just think his first target will be Tony. I think that is where Mahomes will do everything he can to get Tony's confidence back up in this game. That's what I think. Tony is stonks. He has a good game.
First ball's going to Kelsey.
Yeah, first ball's going to Kelsey. not Tony. It's going to Kelsey.
I think. Yeah. I don't know. I just think he has to know I have to get Tony's confidence back up. And if I avoid throwing the ball to him, he's never going to recover. And hey, guess what? I don't have a wide receiver weapon.
All right. Up next, Chargers versus Titans.
The only thing on this game, I would normally say Chargers, and especially after how Tennessee played last week. Chargers are another team that don't historically play great in the early window. But the way that I just don't know if Tennessee can put up the points. Like, Tennessee is not Miami. The Chargers are still going to put up the points. I think this is going to be a big Austin Eckler game again. And Derrick Henry can only do so much. I think the Chargers do take this. It's not going to be – if this was a 4 o'clock, the late slot in L.A., blowout. Just the fact that, they are traveling across the country. They win the game. It's not going to be a definitive win, but they are going to pull it out.
Look, Chargers always play the Titans tough. Like, this is always a really close game. Again, Vrabel is a very good coach. That is my biggest concern. Is Staley going to get outcoached again? That run defense.
Situation where the Chargers are going to lose, but they escape their own idiocy again.
I think this is close. 3 points is the cover, and I don't think they cover.
All right, so if we're looking at this game, let's go to the Titans side and say DeAndre Hopkins.
Not Stonks. Well, hold on. Take that back. Hey, against that, if you're not Stonks against this defense, what the fuck are you doing, Tannehill? But I'm still gonna leave not Stonks.
Here's the thing. That is where I'm saying not Stonks is because I think the fire is going to be under the ass of Bosa and Mac after last week. I think there is going to be a fire under their ass to just go hit the bastard. And I think that's what they're going to be doing a lot. Tennessee's O-line's not great. Tannehill doesn't get the ball out quick enough. And I just don't think Hopkins gets anything from it. I think he's the one who suffers. And I think because of that, they're going to try and run the ball up the gut, and they're not going to be able to.
All right, up next, Seahawks versus Lions.
I don't know why. This could be a trap game to me. The Lions are coming in on such a freaking high. They should win this game, but this one out of all the games this week seems like there's the highest potential for a trap. The Lions are the more talented team overall, but it's going to be close. I'll take the Lions, but Seahawks are going to put up a fight.
Yeah.
I'm going the opposite. I think Lions win this handily, and the reason the Seahawks lost the Seahawks O-line issues. They just lost two very important players on O-line in their O-line, and I think that is the problem. 5.5 points. I think they cover.
All right, I'm also going Lions. I think they cover. I think they cover. Not by much. I think they cover.
All right, so stonks or not stonks? We're gonna go with the rookie tight end from Detroit, Sam Laporta.
Considering one of the coverage linebackers, Devin Bush, I'll give him stonks.
Yeah, I'll go stonks.
Very nice.
All right, up next, Chicago versus Tampa Bay.
Can we lose the satellite feed so we don't have to watch it? Like,
Please.
Thank Christ, I'll be in LA, so thank Christ I'll be in a bar watching all the other games.
Worst game of the week here. Well, no. One of two candidates for worst game of the week. There's one other one that's awful too.
Oh, we'll get to that, but I don't think that one's going to be as bad as we're thinking. Anyway, I think Baker's going to look very good in this game, and it's going to be really ugly. And we're all afterwards going to be like, really? Bears, I'm wondering how many weeks does it take for us to start going, Bears made a mistake trading the first overall pick. Not because, and the sad part is I don't think it's because Justin Fields is bad. I think what they're going to end up trading Justin Fields to another team, and he's going to be very good for another team. I just think this team doesn't use him right. And
I got Dan on this too. The Bears look just dreadful, and I'm not saying Tampa Bay looked great, but just
they look good. They look good to beat this team.
Yeah, good enough to beat the Bears, I think. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm leaning Tampa also, not by much, but if the Bears win this, I will be pleasantly surprised. I won't be super surprised. I'll be delighted a little bit, but yeah, I feel like Tampa's good enough to at least beat this Bears team.
So speaking of the Bears, we're going to look at DJ Moore.
They need to get in the ball. That's if Bears gave up the number 1 overall pick so they could get this guy. At least target him.
Yeah,
he had 2 receptions. 2. What are you doing?
I'll go.
I'm gonna go not stop.
That defense is actually pretty rough. I'm actually. I'll go. He better be stunks. He better be stunks this week. That's all I'm saying. He better be stunks. If it's not him, then Darnell Mooney will be stunks. It's one of the two of them. I'm not sure which. One of the two of them will be stunks.
Nice.
All right. So up next, we got the Giants taking on the Cardinals.
Lose the
It's a revenge game. Let's go.
I think this actually has one of those just awful high-scoring games, where just defense on both sides doesn't show up. And
okay, I think this is a game where Daniel Jones comes out not in the "this is why you paid me $40 million" type of game, but it's more the I'm not as bad as last week. Last week was. I think it's one of those games where Daboll goes, hey, no, I'm still a coach of the year. I'm still where I was. We just went up against the best defense in football. Anyone would have looked that bad. I think we get a much better team. I think Darren Waller plays really well. I think Saquon is able to run on this team. I think the Chargers are going to
better.
I think the Chargers will try. The Cardinals will try, and they're going to really try against this team, but they're just not going to be good enough. And I do think, I think we get to see a Daniel Jones that is not. Who is not sacked 7 times. I just think last week was just one of those. We went up against the best defense in football. Give us a break.
So obviously, the Cardinals are notorious for being awful against opposing tight ends. Darren Waller, I think, is going to have a really good game. Let's go on the other side, though. Somebody
Zach
who our fantasy football league, but in the 4th round, Mr. Zach Ertz. Stunks or not stunks?
That sucks. No stunks. No stunks for
Not
Zach Ertz.
stonks. Not stonks. Oof.
Oh, I love you, Justin, by the way.
All right. Up next, we got at Battle of the NFC West, San Francisco 49 taking on the Los Angeles Rams.
49ers.
I'm really looking forward to this game. Just to kind of be a barometer test of one, where are the Rams actually? Two, how good is that O-line? How good is that O-line against Aaron Donald? Now, we saw them go last week against against Watt, and they went pretty decent to stop Watt. So we'll probably be able to stop Donald, but I'm really curious to see how they go against that.
I mean, Watt still got 3 sacks.
No, exactly. So we'll see. I really want to see. I'm really curious to kind of see, like, again, how does Brock start doing? This whole season is going to be about Brock Purdy and how well does he play on this team, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've got 49ers, but I think it's going to be a good game.
I got Niners in this also.
Okay, so in this one, let's take a look at one of last week's heroes, Puka Nacua.
Stunks. Stunks all the way up.
Yeah,
The most stunks.
This is one that I kind of wouldn't hate betting. 49ers are 7.5 point 7.5 point dogs. So Rams are 7.5 points you can get. I don't know. That's a lot. That is a lot to cover against a team that looked pretty good last week. So I'd look at betting the Rams from that, even though I think 49ers will win. I just don't think they'll cover.
That's fair. All right. Up next, Mike, your boys, New York Jets taking on the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the Cowboys' defensive line against the Jets' offensive line is just going to run right over them, right to Wilson. Wilson's going to
If you lose 2 quarterbacks in the span of 2 weeks, that's going to be something.
I do think that on the opposite side of the ball, the Jets do match up very well against what the Cowboys' offense is going to put up with. I don't think it's going to be a super high-scoring game, but the Jets are not going to put up very many points, so I got the Cowboys.
This is the other one I would bet on. They're 9.5 point dogs. The Jets. I'd be picking the Jets for that one. I don't think I think Cowboys will win. But I could see Dak throwing 3 interceptions in this game. I really could.
I think the defense will keep it low scoring, but Zach Wilson might die.
Okay,
it's gonna get ugly.
With what we're saying, about the, I don't think it's even fair to put any of the Jets offensive players. So let's go to the Cowboys. Let's take a look at Jake Ferguson.
The tight ends.
Yeah,
Not stunks.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not stonks because I think he's gonna force feed the ball to CD Lamb or they're gonna try and run it up the gut, and it's just not gonna work. And that's when
CJ like a pretty solid, coverage linebacker. So I feel like not stonks.
Yeah, so I got I don't think so. Not stonks.
Another contender for worst game of the week next week: Commanders versus Broncos.
tie.
Oh boy.
Look, if the Broncos
I guess
lose this game, there's legitimate cause for them to just like. If the Broncos lose this game, you see an increased suicide rate in Denver. This team is why.
The Broncos.
Denver just won the NBA. All right, they've at least got a championship in that town right now.
If they win the game, it's not going to be a high-scoring game.
I am apparently the Commanders fanboy over here. I'll say Commanders win, but it's a close game. It's going to be ugly, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah. Sorry, Dad. I'm going Denver. least in theory, they should win. I'm going Denver.
So in this one, what Mr. 12 restaurants himself, Russell Wilson.
Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Very limited. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Stonks. That he actually does play well, but I think that it's just not gonna be enough.
Right.
The idea of Deron Payne and Montez Sweat does scare me a bit for Russell Wilson, but I will say Stonks for Wilson.
Very good.
All right. Sunday night, we got the Miami Dolphins taking on New England Patriots.
My God, really? Why did this have to be the Sunday night game? Like,
Terrible.
Jesus.
It's
I'll be in the
terrible,
car
terrible.
driving home. I'll be listening to it. I won't be watching it. I've got Dolphins. They're going to be scary. That team, like, I'm really curious to see how does Tua go up against an actual defense, like a really good defense. I'm really curious to see that, because we saw what happened last week with the Eagles, and Eagles have a much better offense than this. So look, I think Dolphins win it, but it is a lot closer than people are expecting. Oh, actually, wow, Vegas have it.
Given the fact it's at New England, I think it's gonna be a little closer, but I do still have Dolphins winning.
I thought Vegas would have it a lot closer.
I also got the Dolphins on this one, but New England's defense played very well against a strong Eagles offense last week, and I think Tua is not throwing for 400 yards this week, and I don't think Tyreek might not even get half of what he got last week. So this is definitely going to be a closer game than people are giving it credit for. So let's go with on the Dolphins side of the ball. How about Jalen Waddle?
I like him in this game.
I think he actually does well. I think he does stonks. I think he does well because I think Tyreek is getting double teamed.
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, Vegas have Patriots as 2.5-point dogs, which I am shocked by. I'm shocked it's 2.5 points. I would have thought it would be like 5 or 6 after what the Dolphins.
Yeah, you might want to take the Dolphins on that one.
Yeah.
All right, got Monday Night Football doubleheader. New Orleans Saints. First was New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers.
Saints are winning this game.
Saints.
Nobody's watching it.
Saints. Yeah, the Saints. That's it.
Saints.
Instead of stonks or not stonks, how about we say Bryce Young over under 2 interceptions?
Over.
I think. Okay, if you're giving me like around 2.5, I'll say under. I think he'll throw 2, but I don't. If he throws 3, I'll be a little. Like,
yeah, this is gonna be a bad game.
Yeah, all right. The other game, one people will actually be watching. Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cleveland Browns. I'll say, if they come out like they did against San Fran, I'm concerned. I don't think they will, because they always show up for Cleveland, except for last year, but we had Trubisky, so that one doesn't count. This team wakes up for Cleveland. So I think this is going to be a solid game. I think it's going to be a close game, but I do. So I'm my fandom. It's because I know this team. I think I got Pittsburgh winning this.
I think 2 points is the right call. You're 2-point dogs at 2-point at home. I think that's a good bet. Actually, I think that's a really good bet. I think Steelers win this. It's close, like it's really close, but yeah, I do think you're right. I think they lift. They do stand up for when they play the Browns. So
they stand up for AFC North ball among everything else, but especially Cleveland for some reason.
Yeah.
This is a game that I'm going to go not with my head or my heart, but with my eardrums, because I do not want to listen to Matt Thomas be insufferable next week. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to be rooting for the Steelers, even though I hate most of their fan base. I just, for the love of God, I just want to see him with the tail between his legs. So Steelers.
All right.
And
which one's going to be more insufferable? Which one's going to be more insufferable on Tuesday?
With the win, Matt.
With the win, Matt.
Like, there is only one other, like, from what I've gathered now, there's only one other person I know in the entire space who's more of an insufferable fan than Matt is. So I'm like, geez.
I'm curious who you're talking about. We know the drill. Everyone in Pittsburgh is not stunks. Everyone in Pittsburgh is stunks. Everyone on the other team is not stunks.
I'm telling you right now, if you guys lose to the Browns next week, I'm calling the Steelers not stonks.
No, you can't do that. That's against the rules.
Just because of what will happen on Tuesday.
I understand the mentality. If that was not against the rules, I would allow it, but it's against the rules. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them.
I do love. Okay, I want to give our audience an insight into where your mind was on Sunday, where you knew how bad your team had played. That you were like, you reminded us. You had to remind us of that rule of no, you can't make it. You can't make any Steelers not stonks. You can't. This was after we had seen Tony. So he had a feeling that we thought the Steelers had played worse than Tony.
Look, I did not go over it in the production meetings, but so I had to remind you that the contract you signed on this show, in that contract, it was written that Steelers cannot hold the award of not stunks of the week, and that is the rule.
Yep.
That's not from me; it's from the network. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the show tonight. Jacob, plugs before we head up.
You guys can just find me over at Jacob London on Twitter, Letterboxd. I will slowly start to build this back up and start doing more stuff, but in the meantime, you can find me there.
Mike,
and you can find me Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I really don't use any of them that much. But then you can find me on Wednesday nights on What the Show. Tomorrow night, Moose Haas is going to be joining us. So we always have fun with him. So definitely check that out.
I'm on Twitter, _Chance_91. Check out Enjoy by Chance, the podcast. Eastwood Month is underway, which we just play Misty for me. Pale Rider is going to be our next movie. We're looking at that in the next week. And yeah, we will see you next week. As we said, Matt Thomas we have a whole slew of guests coming up. Matt Thomas giving the lead off of that. And yeah, we will see you next week.